Whether you're new to pool and practicing the basics, or a more experienced player performing drills to improve your shot making and positional play, the Drill Partner is perfect for you.
Got that intro video buttoned up, buddy. Fuck. had to get that sewn up while I was actually I did it while I was watching the beginning of Bergman and Fedor. So I was trying to think. I was like, I know I got something to do, and I couldn't remember what it was. And then thankfully I did it. Anyhow, how are you, man?
Good.
Yeah. I'm just getting caught up on everything over the last couple of days here, Mike, and help me out here because how did the bank pool end? Just out of curiosity. I wasn't sure how.
My horse pulled up lame with one ball to go.
Wasn't he up wasn't Shaw up like 2-1 on Fedor?
Yeah, and then he was up 4-1 or 4-2 in the last rack. And he ended up with a shot off the spot. Pretty, not crazy hard bank shot, and he missed it. Fedor made a couple of amazing shots in that last rack, but
the one to get to 4 was great, and then Jason just.
Well, how about the one they took away from him because they said it skimmed the 3-ball on the way into the pocket? I was like, man, that was about as beautiful a cross corner shot you could make.
I'll be honest, I didn't watch because when I saw my dude was down 2-1, I was like, "Fuck, I ain't never gonna hear the end of it from Uncle Mike." So I didn't even want to I didn't even want to sweat. And I tell you how much of a sports fan I am. So I if I'm betting on someone and I'm watching and then they go down, I gotta walk away. I can't stomach it because I can't tell you how many times where I've done that and then they come back and win. I don't know what it is.
See, I'm the opposite. If the team I want is winning, is getting late, I leave. Because if they win, they were supposed to win. I saw them, they were winning anyways. They were supposed to win. If they lose, I didn't want to be there to watch it. Because then I'd go on to it. So there's been a lot of games where I've just been I'll just walk away and then just check the stat line later to see what the final score was. It turns out
the problem is, when you're up 4-1 in a case game, when you're up 4-1 in banks in general, you ought to be able to get the better of it. And you can't lose the game from there, especially depending on how that layout is. But I got something about that last rack because I give the edge to Fedor when it comes to the having better knowledge when it comes to bank pool.
Yeah.
And having and then having I feel like he's got more consistency as far as level of banks in his pocket as well when it comes to Jason. Yeah. Jason's remarkable. He's a straight shooting guy but that one to give up the ball to go up or not to go up to make it 4-4 when Jason moved the 9 and Fedor got the max mileage out of that thing because I don't even think that was that bad of a mistake by Jason other than just a hair of a cue ball being different or a hair of that 9 ball being left open for Fedor. He just took full advantage of it though.
Yeah. Are you talking the 9-ball or the 3-ball when he banked the 3-ball backup table? Or
I think it was the 3. I think because I was the one.
He was really tight into the corner with it, and he just tapped it into the rail. And it was just, it was a couple amazing banks by Fedor at the end there, and Jason he was kind of the cue ball was up near the rail, but he had a.
That's tough to do, Mike, and especially with the pressure and all that. That was not the one thing I didn't like about it. It wasn't the swing. I felt like he could have done a way better job with that cue ball or just bunt and see what you're going to get left with on the next inning because what he did there was basically go all in. I mean, he was completely loose with his cue ball. Yeah, and you can't leave that kind of shot up to Fedor. I don't care if he's playing on a bumper pool table. You know, I don't care what he's playing on. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna drill that layup of a bank all day, every day with that distance between cue ball and object ball, and it's free. I mean, that's the case ball. You know what I mean? And so, but kudos to Jason for pushing him to the limit for sure. I thought going into it, Fedor was in the Final Four. I loved my guys on my side. You know, so Ahab says the cream North Face is fresh, Uncle Mike. What is he talking about, Mike? He's talking about your sweater there. Is that what he's talking about? He's digging the jacket. He's digging the jacket. Oh yeah, okay. A little creamsicle. I dig it. Okay, give it here. But I tell you what was cool, Mike.
Sell it to you. I'll autograph it and sell it to you.
What was cool was seeing the Bergman and Fedor match, and it was standing room only, and it was packed house during that semifinals. I mean, it was great seeing one, the hometown hero be in that spot to begin with. But two, against Fedor, it was about as good a matchup as you can ask for. I know Fedor won 3. I think it was 3-1, was up 2-0 or something. But yeah, it was a hell of a matchup though.
Yeah. Well, give me good. Thankfully, Justin got a little more rest for his match today. So.
Oh, he did, and we're gonna get to that match here in just a minute because I gotta sweat that one from the front row. But yeah, kudos to Pro Billiard Series for putting on that Bank Pool event, Mike. I mean, $15K for first, $9,000 for second, pretty decent for both these guys, along with also getting in the World 8 ball as well. I mean, we wouldn't have, there's no chance those two guys aren't getting in the World 8 ball if they want to get in there. But all in all, Mike, I think it was a pretty fun event. Roberto made a good run as well. Like I mentioned just a second ago, Bergman and all that he brought in terms of the fans that were there. And the one thing that I enjoyed post-match from the semis was seeing Bergman's post about, man, I haven't felt pressure like that in a while. And it was so good seeing all my family and friends. And like, I believe that shit, Mike, because, and I know it wasn't like the best of starts for him, but him getting his feet wet when it comes to being in those type of environments. I mean, December's knocking, kid, so you better, it was,
good to see him in that situation. I like what he said, 300 people in there and I knew 280.
It's true. Yeah. And I don't think he was lying.
It's animation again. And, it's just a different kind of pressure than Ultimate 8 Ball or gambling or something like that. Just different heat.
Sure.
So it's good to see him in that situation.
Yeah. I mean,
good to see him embrace.
Sure. Yeah. And like I mentioned, for me, without having the best of starts either, he stayed with it. And Bank Pool can, I mean, you saw it with the Fedor match coming back from 2-1 down or whatever it was, and then 4-0, 4-1 in ball count. It's like it can go either way, especially when you're dealing with that kind of talent and that kind of execution. But having not seen it for so long, I tell you what, like seeing Justin back on the 9-foot mic, I mean, it's like, and seeing him deal with pressure, seeing him deal with these faces that we want to see him either on the same team with or against when it comes to Mosconi Cup stuff. Like I'm soaking it all in, man. It's really cool to watch, and especially like seeing the love. Like you would think the way that his people here are cheering for him, like. I mean, it reminds me of like going to a T-ball game, oh, that was close. Oh, good job. Oh, like every little thing, which is cool. But like, I mean, they don't make any, they don't mess around. They're rooting for their guy.
If he makes a deep run in the 8 ball, it's going to be interesting because, there's going to be more and more pressure because there's going to be more people who are there just for him and are there expecting him to win. And also add pressure to take your mind off of what you're supposed to be doing, which is packing the balls. So yeah, be interesting to see how he handles everything going forward.
All in all, I think like he was very poised, in that department, which I guess you kind of expect, but then like I said, you still haven't seen it, Mike. So I don't want to say like, oh, he's supposed to, you know what I mean? but I thought it was great that he did. And on the note of the 8-ball, crazy start for him because he goes hill with Huang in an opening round match. And it was funny, Mike, because I got to see Julie, who she runs around with Huang, does his social media, his manager,
Right.
really nice lady. And it was funny because when I was talking to her, she was like, Huang hasn't played 8-ball in 10 years, outside of the one Vietnam event they had this past year. And actually it was a qualifier to get into this event, she told me. And the other thing, which I thought was great, was that as we were kind of like discussing just the general things in 8-ball in Vietnam and all these things, she stopped me and she was like, and Justin plays good. And I was like, yeah, Justin does play pretty good. In case you didn't know.
It was a tight match. Justin was lucky to get out of that one alive. And then his match with Fedor was box office.
Who, Huang, or you mean Filler? Filler and Justin.
I mean with Filler.
Yeah.
Justin's match with Filler.
We're gonna jump into that, but before we do, I want to give a shout out to Seabirds because they're helping sponsor me being out here, Uncle Mike. And I just want to, for those of you who are here in St. Louis or around, you get a chance to win an Air Rush jump cue courtesy of Seabirds Billiard Supply. Make sure and hit me up if you're in St. Louis, if you're here at the venue, for a free swing at it. Sorry, Mike, I had to give like a shameless plug.
Yeah, that's totally cool. I'm happy that
you're not allowed to get in. You're not allowed to get in, by the way. So don't try to butter me up.
What the hell am I going to jump cue anyway? I can't shoot straight, much less jump balls.
That may work on the general public, Uncle Mike, but that doesn't work with me because I've seen them run out at Marboys on their tight.
You've seen me jump a ball.
Okay, maybe not jump a ball per se, but I have seen you run out on a pretty tough table. That I will say, and I think JR from Marboys can go and vouch for it. And by the way, there was like Jonas Magdenpay sitting down there watching. There was like all these Bernie, all these rows of killers just watching Uncle Mike, and they all had the same look on his face.
They didn't want any of my smoke once I left.
No. Their English was good until they saw that, and then they were like, "No, speak English. I don't know. I can't." So, no. Anyway, Mike, let's talk about that Filler match because I saw it when I woke up this morning.
Yeah.
Obviously, I noticed that the other day when I seen the Huang match and with Bergman, and I was like, "Well, good luck to whoever wins because you're drawing into Josh Filler. Josh fucking Filler is who you're drawing into." Mike, talk to me about that matchup and what was your takeaways from it in the overall.
It was a great match. I mean, Justin started off, breaking like a monster, ran first 4.
Who would have thought anybody would have thought that, Mike? Breaking like a monster.
His break on a big table, 8-ball, you didn't know, you don't think he's going to break dry every time, but he had 4 looks and 4 runouts. And then he really should have been up 5-1.
Should have.
Was at 4-1,
which was a huge mistake, by the way.
Josh ran out, and then Josh botched his first shot in the next rack, and Justin, got to the 8 and missed a pretty easy 8. And I saw him talk about a baby cried in his backswing, and I know that happened because the minute he shot and the ball started going off line, I saw him look over to this one part of the stands, like immediately. You could tell something had gotten him a little bit. He said he probably, that's no excuse. He probably, he said that rate I probably would have missed it anyways. But
that was just him being humble, him saying that part.
Wasn't a really tough shot. And it's the end. So then it got a little bit dicey there toward the end.
Oh, it got real dicey. Yeah.
Yeah. But then Josh broke dry in the last rack. And here's the thing with the 8-ball at this level with these guys on big tables is it's all about, I mean, obviously they say this in 10-ball, they say it in 9-ball. It's 120% on the break. If you break and make a ball, you're out. If you break and don't make the ball, he's out. And that's the way every game went. There were 15 games. It was a run out 12 times. 6 times guys broke and ran out.
What?
And 6 times the guy who broke dry, the other guy ran out. There were 2 games out of 15 where a player got to the table twice.
Both players had one miss, if I remember right. And I'm look, on that note, you're right. I mean, obviously the break's going to be extremely weighted. How guys are going to go and handle,
especially on the big table, because there's no clusters on these big tables. There's nothing to fight
but
through.
I want to give some love to Filler on that note, though, Mike, because Josh had some gritty outs, and I mean, he was not getting any love after the break at all.
I'm not saying it's break and throw them in, but it's, you know, it's really unexpected when someone doesn't get out from the break.
Well, that miss at 5-1, I had my earbuds in, so I didn't hear the baby. I just thought he missed it. And so when I was interviewing him afterwards, I was kind of surprised because, like I said, I didn't even, you know, with the noise cancellation or whatever, I didn't hear the baby. But Justin, to his credit, like I said, he didn't make any excuses. But that miss to go up 5-1 is massive, especially in winter break, especially with how weighted the break is, especially how it can giveth and it can go and taketh as well, can the pool gods, when it comes to that break. And oh, by the way, the guy who you're playing in that match is a recent World 8-ball champion along with that, you know. So I think had that match somehow been like in the evening at around like a 7 o'clock matchup, I mean, it would have been even more packed to the gills full of people, you know, given the 9 a.m. start time, which it was funny hearing Justin say, like, I'm glad I won because now I don't got to wake up at 9 a.m. Like, historically, Justin Bergman is not a morning guy. And anyone who knows Justin or seen him around the tournament scene for years knows that he's never been a morning player. And it's funny because I have specifically, there's been a few guys who I know that I don't mind betting against in a morning matchup. Justin Hall's one, Justin Bergman's another one, because they're not morning guys, you know. And so it was funny hearing him say that.
You're stealing betting against Justin Hall in that situation.
Look, it's like I don't even want to say it's insider information.
When he doesn't like a morning match, he just doesn't go.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, that's a whole other. We'll get to that topic here in just a moment as well. But yeah, look, that 5-1 miss on the 8-ball, huge. Filler does what Filler does. You expect if you miss an 8-ball, you're supposed to lose. He did lose that one, and then, like I said, all the credit in the world to Bergman. Huge matchup. But damn, did Josh claw and scratch and fight and was just trying to figure out a way to get his ass back in there. And when Justin was, I think 7-6 up, he's breaking the ball. 6 ball hangs in the side pocket, doesn't go in. Josh drew, and it was, I mean, I could have made those balls. It was that wide open up a table. Josh does not waste any time, makes it hill. And then in that case game, Mike, I mean, it was tense in there. That 7 ball just stayed on. I mean, it was one more, you know, eighth of a revolution of a turn. Yeah. That ball is in the drink, Mike, you know? And so I thought it was, this is why I love a world championship, because you get this from beginning. Right, SVB, which we're going to get to in a minute, is now out of the World 8-ball, a recent World 8-ball champion in his own right. Moritz, the guy who's been on fire, is now out of the World 8-ball championship as well, Mike. And my point is, it's a tough tournament. I mean, it's an extremely tough tournament with the volatility of the break and then how deep it is.
Yeah, no, it's anybody can, you know, win any of these matches. You know, that's obvious. So, you know, and it's. I mean, I like it. I like watching these guys work their way through a wreck. I like watching them look at how they're going to get, you know, to the 8-ball. And obviously watching Justin and Josh play, those are two of the top level players of that game, right? So you know, I'm not trying to discount the fact that racks can be tougher for people who aren't as good as they are, but
right, yeah.
But it is kind of, you know, it feels like all these because, you know, level play is good, but level play is good playing 9-ball, level play is good playing 10-ball. I mean, all these guys turn to play really good. So, but this one, it seems more like anything totally based on whether you break the balls well or not, because like I said, they usually here and there and some tough runouts, but overall, you know, if the first guy that gets the shot is out. I mean, I saw Filler make a break, ball went down. I saw Justin take his glove off. He knew he was just, you know, letting his hand pull off until the next rack because that one was over. You know, you don't even see that in 9-ball when someone's got a layout that's easy and they see the 1-ball. You know, usually wait until like 4 or 5 before you're unscrewing your cue.
Because the other side of it is the winner breaks side of that, Mike. That's part of that reasoning.
Right. So, but yeah, it was great. It was a fantastic match. Big win for Justin. You know, there's nobody bigger to take it down than Josh right now. So that showed a lot for him. And so yeah, I think the Justin Bergman bandwagon, even though this is 8-ball, not 9-ball, the bandwagon is going to get full really fast.
Oh, it's already started. It's already started for sure. It's already started. Yeah, I mean, like this was all I needed to see. You know, the hell. I mean, listen, PLP. Okay, you know, not that many people in the room. I can go on and on and on, right? It being like just a sweatshop of playing 9-ball. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna put a whole lot of weight on it. Don't get me wrong. Like you're gonna factor the break into it when you're considering things or weighing things out or just kind of like looking through the magnifying glass. But this was a pretty good sample size for me, Mike. And I know it's barely we're at the beginning of April right now, but still, you know.
Yeah.
Joseph says the train has left the station. Mike,
he's got Gerson.
He does. And you want to talk about a guy, you want to talk about a trap match, especially coming off of a win over Huang and Filler. That's about as big of a trap match. And Gerson is known to be that giant killer. I love the way Gerson plays pool, man. You know? But I think in St. Louis, though, and you want to talk about a big, you know, all of Justin's matches from here are people are going to want to watch. You know, you better believe it. People are going to be there. And it's funny because when even starting on the banks, when I mentioned he played Shane, I think in second round of banks, I want to say. And the only reason why I knew they were playing, because I didn't catch it in the bracket, right? And I forgot where I think it was on TV table. Exactly. That's what I was getting to. I look over and I'm like, why are all those people over there? And then I look and I'm like, oh, it's fucking Shane. Oh, that's Bergman. Shane and Bergman. Wait a minute. You know, so but yeah, no, like I said, it was a lot of positives, Mike, to take away from that. You know, beating Josh in any discipline on a 9-foot table, it takes a lot of moxie. On top of that, the fact that when Josh comes back, Josh closes. When Josh puts heat on you, guys fold. Justin ain't a folder. Justin didn't fold. Justin didn't. The pressure didn't go and get to him. I mean, sure, he lost like yesterday to Fedor, but it took you having to beat him in order for you to beat him, not him losing to himself, which I've seen a lot of guys go and do, Mike. But, and all jokes aside, though, honestly, what's your, if you were to consider Mosconi Cup in just the last 4 months and you think about Justin Bergman, where are you really at with it?
Someone would have to show me that they're a better option for me to not want to take a shot at Justin Bergman this year.
It's a great way of putting it.
Someone would have to really have a big year that, you know, who, you know, I'm talking about Tyler, a Billy, you know, someone like that. If I were putting him up against Justin Bergman right now, one of those guys would have to have a really big year for me to think that I would pick them ahead of Justin. Just, you know, not, who knows? I mean, Justin didn't play well at PLP, and this is 8-ball, and he's played 2 matches, both hill. Could have lost both of them in tournaments. So it's not that I think he's the answer to all our prayers right now, but I think that at this point, if he's, you know, still ambulatory, you're going to give him a shot. Now, again,
let me hold on. Let me push pause. I'm gonna Google that fucking word before I respond. I don't even know what the hell that means, Mike.
If he's up on his feet and moving, and his arms are functional and things like that.
Oh, we can get a group of people to get some strings and hold them up, and we can just guide them. We can, we can guide them over to the table like Pinocchio.
Some of it's going to depend on where they drop with the captain. I don't think that would be an issue, but you just never know. So until they announce a captain, then I'll know a lot more about how I like Justin's chances. But, you know, listen, he's a great talent. And the fact that he wants in, like he told you today, he's going to play in the U.S. Open. He's going to play in Florida. I'm assuming that means he's also going to play in Arizona.
I doubt he'll play in Arizona.
What's that?
I would doubt he plays in Arizona. Just my, I didn't ask him specifically, but
because then it's only 2 2 tournaments in the U.S. that he's planning on playing, right?
I mean,
US
outside
Open
of like, yeah, I mean, major wise, sure. You know, if you're considering the Florida
So,
Open and then of course
but anyways,
the
it's
U.S.
still, you know, I'm going to be anxious to see how he does in those events. You know, but you know, since it's here in the U.S. and he's already, you know, he kind of said he'd like to travel to maybe international term, but he doesn't want to live us. That to me is saying he's already saying I'm not going overseas. So
right, and that's what I took away from it too. I think he was trying to like say
that's why
he's leaving the door open, but yeah,
that's why I would hope that he would go to Arizona, you know, in addition to Texas, because I want to see him against all these guys in that field more than twice a year. You know, just for him to get in that kind of mental and physical stroke. So, you know, but yeah, that said, unless he completely goes, you know, shits out 2-0 onto Florida and US Open and Yuma if he plays in Yuma, I would think that he's a really strong contender for Team USA. If for no other reason, then we're not going to do the same 5 guys we've had the last 2 years. Okay, that I think no matter who's captain, you're not going to ride that horse again.
I don't think Matchroom will let him ride that horse again because they can't risk it.
Well, you know, if you're not, there's not. Then the options after that 5 are pretty narrow. I mean, then you've got Bergman, you've got Lucas and Oscar, and you know, it's kind of that's pretty much it. It's not like, you know, you're looking at another 10 players. You're looking at maybe 3 more to replace 1 or 2 of that 5 that was on the last 2 years.
Look, I think it's interesting because when last November, whatever it was, when there was a lot of like social media stuff when it comes to certain players being picked, and I saw Tyler go on there and kind of defend Billy a little bit, and he was like, and what he ended up getting to was referencing back to Justin's Mosconi Cup record and was talking percentages. Now, in hindsight, it probably wasn't a good look considering the fact that you dropped a donut in the Mosconi Cup for Tyler's sake. You know what I mean? But you know, he was referencing just his overall record with it. You know, but what I would say is when it comes to that note, when it comes to the same 5 guys, look, you cannot go in there with those same 5 guys because you didn't cut it. You didn't make it. It didn't work out. Thanks for showing up.
It works the second time.
Yeah, hopefully the money cleared. You know what I mean? And you know, but we've already seen that show. And so for nothing else, like given the uncertainty of it and the unknown, I've said this plenty of times, right? Give me something to at least hang hope on when it comes to watching sports, Mike. You know, give me something that I want to tune in for till I at least see. Now you may end up with that same result. And, you know, and that's okay. And I don't say it's okay, but at least you tried something different versus trying to do the same thing and then it being the same result that we've all seen for the last few years. But I think with you, like I could not agree more when it comes to like it's Justin's to lose. For one, nobody has really won anything over the last few years to really separate themselves, right? And again, I'm not speaking when it comes to like Fedor and Shane because they're in their own little department all by themselves, you know. But nobody's won anything to go and say like they're above and beyond. And furthermore, their recent records in the Mosconi Cup as a unit has just been terrible. And so for nothing else, along with these little strands of like of positives to go and pull from when it comes to Justin, get him a fucking jersey. Let's go. You know, and I tell you what. Seeing again, it's a little sample size, but seeing him process with pressure is really cool. Seeing him get through it and you know,
the guy can play pool. He knows he makes good decisions. He's got a great cue ball. He knows what he's doing. So you're not taking a big risk on having someone go out there who's getting all nervous and picking the wrong shots. So from that standpoint, to me, it's pretty easy. I saw the comment need some top 3s and a handful of Matchroom events. What Americans have been in the top 3 in the last 5 years?
outside of Shane and Fedor, who has?
Yeah, I'm saying if you go top 16,
if you get them top 3, you're building them a statue outside of like out there in Essex. You know what I mean? Outside the Matchroom office. If he's getting top 3,
you finish top 16 in Florida and the U.S. Open, and you're locked.
Look, I've seen guys who have not cashed in many events that they go and get favor for whatever reason, you know. And so I just, like I said, I think the hope factor is real. On top of that, Mike, listen, signature wins against big players, that's a real deal thing. Huang, I'm valuing, especially like on your home court, because there's that pressure that comes with playing in front of your people versus playing in some nowhere in front of Florida. You know what I mean? And then something that we've always talked about when it comes to Bergman, the shot clock. I thought he handled it pretty well, Mike. You know, like he's had shot clock the entire time he's played on TV table, and that's always the question mark. And I don't care who it is. Give me a European, like we can go and have that discussion. And some Americans, you can have that discussion as well. I thought all things considered, because it is a question mark when it comes to him, or has been historically. I thought all in all, I mean, it was about as gone as about so far. Just in the last few days, it's gone about as good as it can go. All things considered, Mike, because I didn't. Even though I know he's a great pool player and I know he can make balls and blah, 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 and I get all that, but going deep in Banks, there's something to be said when you don't play Banks ever. And I haven't seen him play Banks in at least, 5-7 years, maybe even 10 years. I don't even know when the last time he played bank pool. And then to come out and play 8 ball on the 9-foot against Huang and against Filler, you know, and I know they're not what you consider 8 ball players, but tell me somebody who is. Tell me somebody who is an 8 ball player.
Josh has won the World 8 ball championship, so he's not bad.
Sure. Yeah. No, I'm really putting stock into the way that he was able to, I don't want to say hold off Josh, because it was just a flick of a ball difference between Josh winning and Josh losing of that ball that hung up in there on the break. But just being cool enough to handle your business once you got to the table, you know, because, and not only that, but that break, which has always been a liability as well. I think he did pretty good. I mean, by his standards, he broke like fucking King Kong, you know? So, and it was a good match. I mean, all in all, that match with Filler, like
really good match.
It was just a really good match, Mike.
They played at a really high level. It was, you know, they made the game look easy.
Another player who is a recent World 8 ball champion, like I mentioned, Mike, is one SVB. And I know this tournament's tough, and we know the volatility of that is the 8 ball break, Mike. But give me your thoughts on SVB now being out of the World 8 ball championship.
Yeah, well, I got to see some, you know, both of his matches, and you know, his first one, he messed up and out at the end of the match. He should have won his first round, right? And then against Cledio, he broke drive 5 times in 6 breaks. You do that, you're going to lose to pretty much anybody in this field.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair.
So that was the whole thing. I mean, you can't break drive 5 times and expect to win a match. And you know, he moved the cue ball around. He tried from different places. You know, it was just the luck of the rolls. He just wasn't getting a ball to go down. Last wreck, I saw there were like 2 or 3 balls. 3 of the pockets were completely covered up by balls that were like dangling on the edge of going in, and not one of them dropped.
Oh, that last break that he had? I mean, yeah.
It was brutal.
Yeah.
It was brutal. So yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where it just wasn't going to, you know, like I said, he should have won his first round match. So that was on him. Today wasn't really on him as much as he just.
Yeah. Chen's a fucking monster. I mean, I know he's not like, you're not thinking of him in the top
30. I know, but I'm just
players,
talking about he had the opportunity. He had the opportunity there, and he shit position on the 8 and ended up having to take a wild kick at it, and that was it.
This was my takeaway, and I heard some of the announcers talking the same thing. Like it looked like stubbornly he was just going down with the ship when it comes to breaking from the side.
I thought he moved from the center to the side. Was he the side the entire time?
At least I really paid attention that like last half of the match, and yeah, he was, that I saw anyway. It's like every game you're supposed to lose 2, right? With Shane, you only lost the 1 because Shane couldn't make a ball down on the break, you know. And I know there's no rhyme or reason, and you can have your opinions when it comes to that rack or whatever. But like, look, if Bergman and Filler, who don't have big 10 ball breaks, big 8 ball breaks, or if they're having success breaking from the center or a little bit off center, you know, Shane breaking from the side. And I know why guys go and do that, because they want to protect a little bit. But the one thing that I always can fall back on with Shane is that he's got this shotgun, perfect timing, fluid, monster break in his back pocket that he can always fall back on whenever he's going to say fuck it. And I've seen it. Look at the match with Mika years ago whenever Shane won his last World 9-Ball Championship, Mike. And so and he was down like 9-1 or whatever it was, 8-1, 10-1, whatever the hell it was. But like it was he's always got that. And I kind of thought like he would survive the Claudio one, especially on the last one, because I thought one of those balls has to go. And then when none of them did, but that's the brutal part of playing in a world championship when it's so deep, like the way this tournament is, Mike. And this is it. It's what you hope for when you see the player field, but then this is also what you're going to get whenever you have the field like it is as well. Obviously, we're both fans of Shane, so we root for him, But I mean, it is what it is. What are you going to do? The guy loses and goes out early. It's just it's the chaos that is the modern break. And Shane was always like above and beyond a lot of guys when it comes to that break. And I think like to some degree, whether it's been changes or racking or whatever, along with Father Time, like it's leveled out to some degree in that department, So
he's gonna have a lot of time on his hands over the next 4 or 5 days. All he's reduced to now is playing mixed doubles
with Savannah.
That goes all the way to Wednesday if they do well. So he's gonna, and that's the one thing I meant to ask you, how many tables are set up down there?
There's 18 tables. So they have four sections four sections of 4 out on the floor, plus the two TV plus the 2 TV tables.
I just wondered because there's big gaps in when you're playing for some of these players. I mean, someone's saying here, when does Bergman play again? He plays Sunday. Okay, he's got tomorrow, twiddling his fingers. Some of these other guys, I mean, and some of them are, 2 guys I know, Thorsten and David, grew into forfeit already. So they're done now. LK doesn't play till Monday. It's Friday.
That's kind of gross when you think about that. I mean, listen, I've loved St. Louis to this point, but not enough to have like 2 full days off of work. You know what I mean?
There's some real gaps in here on when people are playing. Now it's a little more action if you're playing in mixed doubles, which I think David is. And is Bergman playing mixed doubles?
Yeah, he's with Zhao Fang Fu. Yeah.
So you've got you're gonna play a couple of doubles matches, but there's a long time between matches around here.
Yeah, I think this is like the balancing act when it comes to a number of different factors, Mike. One of them being having multiple events, right, and being able to navigate that. Plus, not for nothing, but the World 8-Ball is the crown jewel of this tournament series, and so to have it spread out is good for viewership, is good for fans, especially having the meat and potatoes. I would hope to be over the course of the weekend, right? You would think anyway, but it's like that's what happens when you have so many mouths to feed right now and so many tournaments to go and cover, and you got to get through one main round here, one main round there, and especially those those opening rounds of these bigger size tournaments. Just it takes time to go and get through, but the give and take of that is having these other events to go and play into, which can still keep you in stroke.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because the one thing I also noticed is that time you talk about pool players not wanting to play, in the morning too much, and the 8-Ball being the crown jewel. Well, the 8-Ball matches are all in the morning and early afternoon, and the evenings are all mixed doubles for the next 4 days.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. That's not kind of backwards. That's ass backwards for sure, Mike. It really is. Yeah, because you want to, and don't get me wrong, you're still gonna have stars there.
You want them at their best to start with, and you want to give the fans the best thing to watch too, right? Yeah. So if this is your marquee event, I would think you'd want to have the World 8-Ball matches in the evening and play the mixed doubles ones earlier, whatever. It seemed odd to me when I put that on the calendar.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, Mike, and I agree with you. And I think like whatever logistical you got to do to kind of swap that around, I think would be in their best interest, because from a viewership standpoint, whether no, I'm not saying now. Obviously, I'm talking about like just in general, because they're not gonna punt right now. yet, at this point of the event, especially considering that they've already put out the calendar and all that shit and the schedule. I mean, but like for sure would be something to go and speak about, later on. But yeah, I think it's just, even though there's opportunities in that department, and selfishly from the viewership side of it and from fans in attendance, like this morning, like I said, I would have loved to have seen that matchup at a 7:00. Give me a 7:00 Central Time. You can have overnight. You can have viewership from across the pond as well. And in Asia along with that. And then on top of that, you're just going to get everybody here in the States going and sweating it, which is great.
Yeah, it is. It's just weird. Like today, all the World 8 ball matches are done for today.
Yeah,
it's all women.
Yeah. On a Friday, on a Friday, you have, if you had like a Shane Claudio on a Friday night, even though I know it was one loss side, whatever, like that's something that, people are gonna say, hey, I want to go over there and sweat that. I'm gonna rearrange my plans to go and check that out. But nevertheless, Mike, I want to browse through the World 8 ball just a little bit more, because Darren Appleton is now out as well. Looking through here, I'm just gonna kind of like pick and choose some of these matches. I know Sky's on the winner's side along with Billy, so congratulations to them for both having a successful start. I know they don't have easy draws on the winner's side, which we'll get to here in just a moment. But was there any other things that kind of stood out for you as you were looking through the scoreboard? I know we talked about like Lucas, and we talked about Donnie Mills the other day as well, as far as Americans forfeiting, but like what all has been standing out to you?
Well, the forfeits, it's a bad look. that stood out to me. Although, in a couple of them, I Mills, and he was at a loss as to why he was in the draw, because he said, I never registered. Okay. So, and so that I buy into. Lucas not showing up. I don't know if he ever formally registered or not. Justin Hall, different story.
But
he's been there
by that Donnie Mills statement, you at least leave the window to have that discussion. Like, did he even register then?
Maybe he never did officially register.
Sure.
So, and they were given a deadline that was like 2 weeks ago. So I don't know why they would have still been on the list if they didn't meet the deadline and didn't say, please hold my spot. Which I believe Donnie all day long. This is the way he did.
Yeah. Donnie's a working man. Donnie ain't, Donnie is not gonna play around like that. I don't think anyway.
So the as far as Justin goes, that was just bad form. That's just bad form all day long. For him to be there for the Banks thing, and then still be in town and just not play. Now I don't know what else. Did he register? I'm assuming he did, since they gave him a spot in the Banks.
That was a part of it. That was a part of the deal, was playing in the World 8 ball if you get the invitation to the Bank Pool.
That's just too bad. But I wouldn't expect to see Justin Hall invited to any more Pro Billiards Series events. That's for sure, and I don't blame them.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't want to bury the guy, but it's not a good look, to say the least.
No.
Like I said, I'm a fan of.
I like Justin Hall. He's a nice guy.
Yeah,
I like watching him play. When you're wrong, you're wrong.
Yeah, and I also don't like that it's a lot of we're here in St. Louis at a world championship on American soil, and all these forfeits are from Americans. Like, as a unit, it's.
Like lives, or is he now? Is he in Vegas now?
No, I think he's in Florida. Yeah.
Florida, right? Florida. Okay, so he was in Florida. Yeah.
It was clarified yesterday that Bobby Hilton, that Lucas wasn't going out, even though he registered.
Well, if he registered, then shame on him.
If he registered, yeah, it's a big shame on him.
Shame on,
yeah,
shame on you, because you took someone, you left someone off who would. So shame on you if that's the case.
Yeah, I mean,
and we've talked about this before too. I mean, from the minute Predators started the whole Pro Billiard Series thing, American players have really, treated it poorly. So sooner or later, someone's going to stop doing you favors by having tournaments.
Look, it's you don't shit where you eat, you know, Mike. It's just plain and
Yeah,
simple, you know. And
yeah,
so I, and I'll say this: like when you go and look at the, it was funny because I was talking with someone about this. I think it was yesterday. But when you look at uh, the opening ceremony, which I know is a little like whatever, you know, it's a process, you know, it can be a
yeah.
little cringe at times or whatever. But and I get that. Believe me, as anyone who like hated, well, I'd rather I was a kid who did all his work in, you know, by noon, turned them in, and then skipped school, you know. So shockingly, I know, you know, but it was like I hated things like that. But the difference is when it comes to something like this, is you're representing your country. There's a responsibility. It's a world championship. And I was looking at like the just the opening ceremony, and when I saw the Americans, I look at it was Payne, Thorsten, it was Eric Roberts, and it was Hayden Ernst there holding up the American flag, smiling. You know, and it's like, listen, I don't. It's sad that you got to go and tell guys, hey, you need to be there, but
Yeah.
as if you're gonna get an invite there, you ought to go and be there. Not you ought to go. You need to be there. It's a requirement. It's a must. And I don't know whether it is on the Pro Buried Series side of things, but I know if it were me, I would say you have to be there because that comes with the territory. And there's just it's this culture. When you look at the Polish guys, they're all dressed up in their Polish shirts and just proudly representing their country, and they made it from across the world here. And I can go on and list guys and girls who are making it on time to their matches and showing up on time and all these things. And we're in St. Louis, and it's a world championship, and it's all Americans who are forfeiting. And I don't know what the issue was with some of these guys. And I know, like, I'm not shitting on Donnie
There
here.
was a Chinese player who forfeited. Come on.
Well, sure, but that was like I would guess that was probably like due to things going on in the world, Mike. You know what I mean?
I'm giving him a pass for sure.
Yeah. But I just like culturally, it's not a good look. You know,
No.
it's not a good look at all. And you know, like if I was a promoter, I would not be bending over backwards to invite a lot of these guys in for the next go around.
I'm definitely taking notes about that. That's for sure.
Yeah,
you know,
because
there's going to be a list. There's going to be a list.
Oh yeah. I mean, you got to like treat it with the respect it deserves. And for all these guys who are, and the other thing that kind of tilts me about that topic of conversation is that you'll always hear the Americans like complain about this or that, the conditions, the payouts, the this, the that, but then these little things like you ought to show some pride in as well, you know, because things can go and change if you put some pride into what you're doing. I'm a firm believer in that, Mike. But yeah, anyway, Mike, that's my one tilted thing for the day. But looking at the bracket here for the World 8-Ball, Edward Bregu taking out Conrad on the winner's side, Albin surviving Tevez, Greg Hogue, he was tied 4-4 with Fran through 8 games and ends up losing 8-4 from there. Sky with a good win over Solnaki, and 2 wins for Sky is great. I would love to see him go on a run. I think he's got that kind of game to go on a run playing 8-ball. Jason Shaw defeating Wojciech on the winner's side, along with Carlo Beato getting through. Your man gambled, and he gambled and lost, Mike, against Casper. like what I did there.
Yeah, but he got a bye, so he's already getting tied for 96th money.
Fuck, dude. Like we mentioned, Chen takes out SVB. Yeah, this guy, I really wanted to go see this matchup, Mike, right here, if I'm being honest with you. This Jonas versus this Polish guy, because I want to see how that guy plays, if I'm being honest with you. And maybe I'll check out his one-loss side match. But I want to know who he is. Seeing what he did there at Rax reminds me of the same vibe that I got watching Arsini before Arsini became Arsini on the Matchroom stage. Like you saw him in these regionals kind of like take out a name here, take out a name there, do damage here, do damage there. And all of a sudden he just, boom, kicks down the door, you know? Tyler Steyer loses to Naoki Oi. Other than that, Mike, Fedor, I know he was down to Roberto, but Fedor doing what Fedor does, and I think he's got a good chance to go to snap off this World 8-Ball Championship. Yeah, especially because there's similarities, or at least there can be, when it comes to that 10-ball break as far as when you hit it square. And I know Fedor has historically hit it from the side, but if he can have any kind of success on the break, and given how sharp this kid is as far as putting the pieces together, fuck, man, Fedor can do some serious damage, especially when you think about other big names that are now either out in SVB or on the one loss side, like a filler, Mike. Does that make sense?
Right.
What were some other standouts for you, Mike, through the bracket?
I'm curious. I want to see Felix Vogel. He's a really good player. I like that kid a lot. So I want to see him. I think he's still on the winner's side.
He's on the one loss side, Mike, now.
Felix is?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. So he's got another match coming up.
Ritz is out
winner's
too.
side, there's some good matches, well,
let's get there first.
Torst is a good 8-ball player. And I like a pretty old guy.
I think you're just gonna get that mix of Europeans, Mike, more European domination. When it comes to another discipline. I hate to say it, but
there's not a ton of Asian players in this, not what we would usually be used to. So yeah, we're really Europe heavy in this World 8-ball.
Yeah, for sure. No, we really are, and I think that's what you're going to end up with. And I know, like, number one, there's just so many of them, and how great they all are. Their experience that they have an edge on in the European Championships, I feel like, is any bit of experience is a plus.
Yeah.
Plus with that Euro Tour, I think they break the balls with this rack as well. So that'll give them an edge in that department. I know it's not a lot, but all those guys stay seasoned and sharp playing out there on Euro Tour, which is now got an influx of money from Predators support as well, Mike. So just all those little things. Whenever you're just dissecting the overall, you can make a case for. But this match right here, Mike, number 100, Sky versus Carlo, box office, man. Kachi and Albin, box office. Right.
When
there.
is that? What is that? Is that Sunday?
Let me see. Sunday at 1. What time do you get here?
I'll be here
Sunday
for that.
at 1.
Yeah, I'll be here before noon.
That should be a good matchup. You guys can check out the bracket at proburiedseries.com. And they do a good job with the live scoring. 4 tables being streamed on YouTube as well, completely free for you guys. So make sure and go check that out. What were some other topics that stood out to you, Mike? Or some other name players that stood out to you?
Well, women, they've got a really strong field there. So I'm looking forward to seeing, all the top women players battle it out.
Yeah, today starts.
We're just getting started
dance,
today.
Yeah. And by the way, Brittany Bryant, tough opening round matchup, and she's up 1-0 in sets over Lu Shasha, and she's up 1-0 in games in the second set, and it's a best of 3 sets. So I think a $90,000 prize fund up for grabs, plus another $100,000 prize fund when it comes to the mixed doubles. So
right.
190 between those two, plus another 50. Mike, what's the prize fund for the World 8-ball? Do you know?
Prize fund for World 8-ball is $300. It's $90 for first.
Damn, that's a heavy first place compared to the prize fund, no? Or am I wrong there?
Well, what's the percentages there? $300,000 prize, $90 for first. It's 30, percent. Seconds 42, third and fourth, or I finished third for 21,000. 10,000, 5,200, 2,600, 17th through 32nd. Which it's not, it's not bad for a 96 player field.
Yeah, look, you get, basically for the women, they got a chance at getting 190,000, and the men got a chance at like 300 and whatever, 300 and or 400,000 when you think about the mixed doubles, for them. So it's solid, man, and The spread out part, I know why they do it as well, because you got to fill hotels, you got to go and make sure people are going to be here, and that's part of the deal as well, and so which I completely understand. Those kind of mountains you got to go and climb from the promoter side of things. But
Yeah.
all in all, like if you're in the area, and especially including Sunday, by the way, because Sunday's gonna get the World 8-Ball back on track. It's like, man, there's a lot of stuff to go and watch. The women, the mixed doubles, the World 8-Ball on Sunday. I mean, it's just so many things that are going to be jam packed throughout the next few days.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Mike, I know it's early in the World 8-Ball. Who are you hoping makes it to the final? Like, what would be your dream final?
And I look through these all the time, and it's the same people. I'll keep rooting for Victor until he actually wins something.
Let's go, Victor. You didn't have to fucking say it like that. You could have just said, "I'll be rooting for Victor." You didn't have to throw that last part in there until he actually wins something.
I said I've been rooting for Victor long enough. I mean, love to see. Obviously, the story of stories would be, Justin Bergman winning or making it to the final. Love to see that. I don't know if I have anybody else that I'm really kind of zeroed in on. I just want to see some really good matches later on. I mean, I hope Josh is in it late because I love watching him play, obviously. So, there's going to be should be a lot of Vitaly. I'd love to see him make a long run, a deep run. Another guy that I like cheering for. So, someone said dark horse possible surprise team for mixed doubles. I think dark horse for sure in the 8-Ball. Certainly, I think, will a dark horse win? No, a favorite could win, but I think I'd be surprised if 3 out of the final 4, if 3 players in the semifinal aren't people you would be considered, to be, I don't know, about one of your top dozen bets, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, if you were a book, taking the action on the favorites would be great right now. Great even ahead of time because of how crazy that 8-Ball is. And you think about just how extremely talented the whole field is, Mike. So it's very, very difficult.
What kind of line I could have gotten just taking Team Poland?
How many? What There's
about 7 players there, right? I mean, if you include Victor in it,
even the unknown dude is taking down monsters. We don't even know that guy. Like
you got
he's over here just. Wojciech's on the one loss side, Mike. That's how deep they are. Wojciech's on the one loss side right now. Conrad's on the one loss side right now. Yeah.
Misko, Matus. There's it's a deep group. So yeah, if you had Team Poland before this started, I wonder what kind of odds you'd get.
Yeah, I mean, you would have gotten something. I don't know what that number would have been like. Ask me that before tournament starts. Maybe we can talk about it. One of these days. But it's an interesting question. Like if you were to take countries, right? Because even if you were taking like Germany's got deep guys as well. And
they've got like 4 or 5 at least, right?
Yeah. Even the Americans at the
Moritz in there. That's a surprise out, right? Moritz, really surprised.
Sure. But in a nutshell, that's 8-Ball for you, right? Because I don't even know the dude from Spain that he played. I couldn't tell you that's him if I walked in that room right now, But when you think about talented professional pool players and playing the game of 8-Ball, that's what can happen, And I'm not trying to discredit that guy from Spain at all and what he did, but in the grand scheme of things, that's how crazy that 8-Ball can go one way or the other. So I'm with you. I don't think there's no rhyme or reason as far as being able to handicap it or predict it, at least not to this point right now, and then we all know how the pool gods are going to go and put their stamp on it when it comes to the break. But the fan in me, Mike, wants to see either Bergman versus Fedor 2.0 or Bergman versus Filler 2.0, or even like a Bergman versus Shaw in a final. I want to see Justin Bergman go deep, and not just from being like a fan of the game, but by the way, his wins that he's gotten to this point, he's probably had the toughest draw to this start of the tournament compared to anybody else,
Yeah,
and has came away with
tough
two
start. Yeah,
two hill victories. So that tells you right there where he's at. If whatever question marks you had about his 9-foot game to this point, he's exhausted those, at least in my opinion right now, Mike. So, but yeah, we'll see how it shapes up. It's going to be a fun end of the event, but we're barely in the middle of it. Mike, where are we going to go? Where are you taking me out to dinner now that I've officially won our bet? Have you thought about it at all?
Well, I was saying we should go out Sunday night. I get there Sunday. I have to look around and check and see if all these restaurants are open around town since it's Easter. Forgot that it's Easter.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's a good point.
So
that's a good point.
So yeah, we'll have to see, but yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. I got a couple of options. We can go Italian. We can go Spanish. I don't know if you like fish, fish.
Don't be giving me Spanish. Better not be fucking Taco Bell, Mike. Okay. Okay. I'm just telling you right now. Taco Bueno, go American and at Mickey D's.
Spanish, not Mexican. Spanish.
There you go. Hey, if you're around, I'd love to do more shows with you, buddy. I don't know what your schedule's like this weekend, but there's going to be a lot more talking points when it comes to the events happening out here in St. Louis. If you're in the area, make sure and stop by. It's completely free to enter. Big shout out to all of our sponsors as well, including Seabirds. Like I said, hit me up if you want a chance to get in on that free air rush. All you got to do is be down here at the venue, and you got a chance. Just hit me up. Michael says Uncle Mike's going to bring you to Chipotle. Hey, listen, I ain't mad at Chipotle. I'm actually I'd be perfectly fine with Chipotle. I'm a big Chipotle guy.
I could be the cheapest guy in the world. I'm not taking you to a chain place. I haven't eaten at a chain restaurant.
All jokes aside, I know that about you.
Food is food. So yeah, we can go to the Hill. We go to the Hill. Although the Hill, the Italian restaurants at the Hill are most likely to be the ones closed for Easter because they're all home with their nonas and nanas hunting. So we'll see. But it'll be memorable.
Well, you guys keep your notifications on. I'll for sure post where we end up for dinner on Windows Open, if nothing else. But you got anything else before we get out of here, Mike?
No, all good.
Hey, listen, it's a lot of stuff going on. Make sure and go show some love to the Pro Billiards Series. I'm going to get out of here for the day. I'm going to go check out some more matches, and we'll see all you guys